Get ready to be inspired by the great things happening in rural education. The Rural Scoop will bring you new ideas and innovative solutions. We'll dive into education issues and we'll highlight what's working in your rural communities. You'll hear from a variety of educators, administrators, professionals, and others who will provide relevant and engaging content in each episode. And now, for a special episode recorded at the Arizona Rural Schools Association Conference, here's your host, Ty White.
So the first question, to help break the ice and show that there's no trick questions here, how about you tell everyone who you are? What brought you to the ARSA Resilient Rural Conference?
Well, I've been coming to ARSA since I was a teacher in Seligman back in 2005. And I've been coming ever since. I'm now the District Executive Officer of the Yavapai Accommodation School District, which is an alternative school that is run under the Yavapai County Education Service Agency in Prescott.
And your name is?
My name is Dr. Kelly Burns.
All right. So, we're approaching the end of the day here. What's one of the things that stood out to you the most?
Loved the lunch session with the teacher team teaching and the collaboration and things like that. I loved that portion of it.
I think it's a brilliant model if we can just get the resources to really implement it.
I think the cost of that might be a little prohibitive, but
I know you're not here as a vendor, but I think there's a lot of people that don't understand what an accommodation school is.
So an accommodation school is students who come to, most of our students, 75% of our students have to come to us for either being behind in school. They are, they've been in trouble with the law. They might be on probation. They might be caregivers, just various reasons like that. So 75% of our kids, about 90% of our kids though, come to us because they are behind in their credits.
This question is going to be fun, I think. Why don't you tell me about your rural experience? You already told us you taught in Seligman. I know you have horses at home.
I do.
Why don't you tell us what it means to be rural for you?
Rural, best place to live. I don't have a whole lot of traffic that I have to deal with. People typically understand better. You know people better. Small communities are just worth their weight in gold because you've got assistance. If you need assistance, you make better connections, in my opinion. I've never been a city girl, so I don't know anything other than rural. I grew up in a rural area in South Dakota as well.
Okay.
So,
what does the expression "the rural advantage" mean to you?
Rural advantage, just everything that I just went over, but there's a lot of disadvantages. But I think that the advantages outweigh that. The disadvantages are not being able to get adequate resources, medical and things like that. But the advantages are that small town feel. You make better connections with people, the smaller communities. It seems like everybody just pitches in and gets through this together.
I always like that there's just special resources depending on where you're at, the unique assets based on your rural community.
Right.
One of my favorite parts about this ARSA conference is that, tonight they're going to have the awards dinner and they're going to recognize 10 outstanding teachers. All of them are deserving of the recognition. They're probably all deserving of Teacher of the Year, but one gets picked, which kind of makes me reflect and think about, and I'm asking you to do that with me. Who was a teacher in your lifetime, somewhere along your path, that really helped influence who you are today?
Mrs. Evian, Margaret Evian. She came to school every day with a smile on her face, even though she was fighting terminal cancer. She was our science teacher, and she never gave up on us, ever. She would sit and talk to us over real topics. We'd get to science, and then we'd be back to the real inspiration of a real human being. And anytime I make decisions, I think of Mrs. Evian.
I've got to ask what grade that was.
8th grade.
8th grade. That's neat. But man, you're bringing the heavy today.
I know. Sorry.
You're all good. You're all good. With where you're at, you got a big network. You got a lot of people, I'm sure there's a number of them that probably ought to be here today. What would you say to someone that would maybe help change their mind, pull them off the fence, and convince them to join it next
All
year?
right. The connections that you make at the Rural Schools Conference. I mean, look at all these vendors that are available and the connections and the rich conversations that you can have with colleagues and the people across the entire state in rural communities, speaking and meeting new people and bouncing new ideas off of each other and finding aha moments and really embracing learning and all these new ideas and different ways of doing things and just to better our schools. Because we've all got such unique ways of doing things that there's so many times that I go, I didn't even think about that. And now I can implement that stuff in my school.
That's it.
Oh, well,
See, that
thanks.
wasn't hard, was it?
No. Well, sort of.
Thank you so much for listening to The Rural Scoop. Please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe, or even leave us a comment. And be sure to follow on Twitter at Dr. Sadorf. That's Dr_SADORF, so that you never miss a new release. You can also check out previous episodes of The Scoop wherever you get your podcasts. Production support for The Rural Scoop is provided by Chattanooga Podcast Studios. Find out more at ChattanoogaPodcastStudios.com. See you next time for more great discussions about rural education.